So our focus is really around managing and tracking design and coordinated related issues on a project. So we connect CAD and BIM data together and put that into the hands of the whole project team. Now, so often we hear there's lots of technology, lots of people, and very little, maybe this isn't the right way to say that, but not everyone in the project is a technical Revit user or a technical Navisworks user, so they need to rely on others in the project to help them engage with what's actually happening. So Revizto helps share and present your ideas with the rest of the project team. So I've got a short video here that just introduces, about 60 seconds long. So I'm just going to play this. Endless possibilities for improved efficiency. However, without the correct understanding of technology and its workflows, very little can be gained. As the complexity of projects increases, it becomes more challenging to design, build, and coordinate a project that can be ready for construction. As a result, thousands of issues need to be communicated, tracked, and solved. Revizto adds a new dimension to BIM that enables users to have a multi-dimensional issue tracking and coordination platform, instantly allowing team members to communicate accountability and address challenges in real time. This allows skill levels of any kind to easily comprehend and locate project issues on any device. Throughout the entire building lifecycle, identify, track, and solve problems live in 3D and 2D using the issue tracker. All activity per issue are tracked with a time and date so nobody has to skip a beat. Additionally, take virtual reality to the next level by viewing your BIM model, clashes, and issues in Revizto VR. Revizto continues to redefine what simplicity really means on a complex project, allowing people around the globe to truly take BIM to the next level. Perfect. So coming back to sort of just identifying what we see as a huge challenge for a lot of our customers and people like yourself is, what is the issue? And the issue, my interpretation of that is there are lots of issues. So trying to manage and track them can be a problem. So this was a workflow that one of our customers in the States shared with us about how the traditional coordination cycle looked for those previously. So as you can see, it's quite complicated. There's lots of different types of technology that's been used to share and distribute and rely on people then to manage what's happening in terms of coordination and clashes and general issues that were being shared amongst the project team. Every project is different, every client is different, every company is different, right? So everyone's got their own interpretation of how this should work. What Revizto does is allow you to give the project team a common language to speak so they can all understand each other and work out, get a holistic view of issues on a project. Without that, you're looking at long delays, project costs increasing. So I'll ask you a couple of questions. How many of you here, when you're sharing issues with your colleagues, or maybe this is you're answering on behalf of your colleagues, are taking screenshots, redlining up PDFs and sending those in emails to your colleagues and saying, please can you deal with this and move that? And be honest, nothing goes outside of these four walls. Yeah, so everyone I speak to does that. How are you then managing all of that? So on a busy project, and for some of you larger organisations, if there's 100 people involved and all 100 of them are sending these emails back and forth and trying to track what's happening, are you using Excel, BCF Manager? I'll let you put your hand up. How are you?
We don't use that kind of workings.
Okay, so how does it work for you? How are you managing issues
we have
in general?
some cloud services.
Yep.
Real-time cloud services.
Yep.
Internally we use OneNote, for example.
Okay.
And our target is to have a single point of truth in real time, where everybody sees in the moment of editing the editings of the other colleagues.
Okay.
And it worked in quite big projects. Okay. And for project coordination we're using tools like Contractor, so I don't know if you know it. But it's more the clunky way, I would say. It's therefore I'm here.
Yeah, and that's the problem. They're coming back back to Homer Simpson here. Is there's so much technology. What do we use? And again, it's certain people will have certain preferences. So again, I hear a range of processes and technologies that are used. It can become difficult to manage to set as a precedent on that project. This will be our coordination and collaboration platform. So Revizto allows you to do all of those in one application that's then bidirectionally linked to your key authoring tool. So our workflow, Revizto becomes your central collaboration platform. So we support a wide range of authoring tools and file types. So one project, and I'm sure the guys will explain this later on, you may have 6 separate linked Revit files from different consultants. We support IFC, FBX, and then we can bring in your clash report directly from Navisworks. So you now don't have to issue a PDF with all of the clashes to the project team. You can bring those into Revizto and assign them to people in what you just asked for in real time and check the status of them. And we can also bring in clashes from Celebrion and so on and so forth. So this project you can then invite to the rest of the project team who are using a Mac or even an iPad. So if you're out on site and you want to capture images and create issues, you can do that on your iPad. So I can put a very technical model into the hands of almost anyone with a tablet, and with their thumbs for the first time they can go in and start navigating around that project and create issues and assign them to their team in real time. So we have lots of customers, probably, what's the count now, Armin? 65,000 global unique users and growing. So a range of firms, but today we'd like to talk to you more about a great firm based in Scandinavia, and Eric and Preben are now going to talk to us. So round of applause to these guys for taking the opportunity to come and speak about, well, I'll leave you talk more, but they've explained it to us earlier on. They're the first paperless project in Norway, which is really exciting, and I hope you enjoy their presentation. So I'll leave you gentlemen take controls. I'll just switch the PowerPoint here.
Yeah.
And I'll hand over to yourselves.
Thank you.
Jump into that video straight away.
Yeah, we could just, yeah, okay. We have a lot of presentations now about ourselves, but we can say what we do as well. My name is Eirik Christensen. I'm a BIM manager in our Norwegian company.
I'm Preben Haugen, and I'm BIM manager in district from Oslo and down to the Sweden border.
So now we're gonna show you a brief video about something we are proud of doing, different things, and then we're gonna show you more about BIM and Revizto Veidekke afterwards. So am I going to play?
Yep.
One departure flight.
So that's something about that's briefly some things that we do. We're going to take you through 2 things now, a short agenda. I'm going to present to you some concepts with BIM in Veidekke in general. And then Preben's going to present to you the Høgskolen project in Remmen. So Veidekke is Norway's largest and Scandinavia's 4th largest contractor and property developer. We have 7,400 competent employees in Norway, Sweden and Denmark. We are also doing different kind of construction. We are doing residential, non-residential and civil engineering and industrial operations. So, to the BIM. The day has brought up many discussions and interesting ways of seeing technology in use. We always think of technology as something that support our processes. So we are supporting and use a lot of different processes in Veidekke. We are a member of SIFE, VDC, Lean Construction. We also have our own process development or processes developed around involving and planning, like IP and IPP. So when we're talking about BIM, we're not just talking about the objects and the product, but we're also talking about organization and process as well. We're talking about the reuse of information and collaboration from different sources. We're talking about usability, different platforms, pads, phones, and PCs, connecting people. We're also talking about BIM as a planning tool. We're not doing just 4D visualization, but 4D planning. And also use the possibility and all that's going to sorry, I lost the words, but the blending of the virtual reality and the physical environment. We're also doing a lot of metrics to ensure that we're doing the right things and support our processes. We're also doing logistic plannings with our models. We're not just bringing out the digital representation of the building, but also the site and environment to support the logistic and the build of the project. And we're also talking about the people. The people are very important, and the people need arenas to collaborate with each other with the use of the right technology. Not just technology, but the right technologies should be there. And Revizto is one of those right technologies. So when we talk about our production, we can see these 4 kind of productions. Our construction production is a project production. We always building unique products, and we also every time have a temporary organization. With all that in mind, we need to also have great ways to collaborate and build the project around good collaboration with the right tools. We also have not just in this production, but we also blending some other industrial production, mass production into our project production as well. So this is kind of a classic way to see how the model is part of our processes from conceptual design to production, but we also want to see it in a more different way. Also, you can say a little bit simpler way, but also it's not that simple. Because we say that we have a virtual and a physical environment, but every project has the possibility to be a virtual project before it even takes physical form. So then we're planning virtually, and then we're saying our physical project is gonna be equal the virtual project that we build. So we gotta believe that we're planning and building the virtual model that we're going to build and deliver. And then we can say our virtual should be equal the physical when we deliver. And we have this representation of a thought we wanted to share with you. And this is rather complex, simple and complex. To start with, you can say, when we get a client, we have a physical environment. Almost every time we have. We can visit the site and take some measurements and feel the environment. But the information is stored in a virtual representation of the physical environment. So if we want some information about anything on site, it's stored in the virtual model of that site. So the possibility for us to make our virtual models from the start in the virtual environment is great. So for us to, if you see what we do, what we're always doing, we are putting on people with great experience and the right people at the right projects to do the right things. But the information and everything the people, the staff are doing on the project is not linked to a virtual information source to be also matured over time in the project. So what we do before we build is digital prototyping, you can say. And when we're building it, it's going on over to our virtual twin, digital twin. So not just the elements here, but we're also doing virtual plannings before we build. So we can build the right thing. We can build it project once with the right. Yeah, sorry guys. Right the first time. And then it's right information at the right time. We are working a lot with LOD, level of development. I don't know if that's familiar for you, but okay, yeah. It's important to ensure that we have the right maturity on the elements on the model at the right time. We're talking about the possibility to have a lot of information, but we just want the information that we need to support our processes. So working with BIM and have the possibility to take up 2D drawings, 2D symbolic representation and 3D visual representations is great. Revizto is a system that blended these two worlds great together. Also, you can say that we have, in the order and create and use the right information, we also have to think about or decide what we are going to use the information for before we even say what the architect are going to put in. Because he could put in everything. He could put in much information that we don't need and won't support our processes. So that's a short presentation of what we overall think about and have thoughts about BIM in Veidekke. So now I'm going to leave the words over to Preben. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions now? Or should we take that?
No, after. Yeah.
So now I'm gonna take you into Campus Rammen, a digital project in development, and I'm gonna use the paper to draw it for you today. No. I just wish you all welcome to campus. This is how we will see it, physical and in the model when you enter the project. You will be in the same location every time you enter the project. When we started this project, it was just a regular project like every other else project, but after some conversations with Statsbygg and Diggebygg of Norway, we ended up as a totally digital project. I'm gonna go further into that on the way. This is the some of the crew working on the project. You see the framers using the beam station with Revizto, the project, the site manager using digital, the steel worker using Revizto to see how the steel model is going on to the laser scan model on the side, and the bricklayer is using digitals, and the electrician guy is using his own beam station for getting the wire up with Revizto. The story behind everything about the digital project is quite funny. You see the director of Diggebygg in Norway, Jan Myhre over there. The project leader of Statsbygg wanted me to test out some VR still pictures for this project. We want to take it more cooler or something. And he sent me down to one place in Norway and asked me if I can go visit that architect and see how the VR gear is. And I think, okay. Get into my car, went down, and he tried to blow my hat off with dinosaurs. And I called him and I said, no, I can't do this. So we had Revizto and Oculus Rift, so we built up the BIM station for showing it to Statsbygg and how we was managing to do this in VR to project design, and for the school management to see how we were going to plan the entire project. But under that meeting, I like to speak and I like to see if we can do something more than just a BIM station. So I said, let's try to go paperless. We can just take the iPads outside and use Revizto, and we can have the 3D model and the sheets connected, and we can BIM collaborate in the system. And Jan Myhre, yes, let's do it! And I was, no!
I was
Just
joking.
don't! But we did it. And now I'm very happy we did it, because the experience we have had the time we did it, we have learned so much about the 3D models and the LOD and how we can do the project design for production, so we can have more understanding in what we are producing and get less errors on site. And that's how we, when you're using paperless buildings, you need to set the focus on front and go back, not project forward and stay there. You need to go front and go back, just to get the details on what we're seeing in the processes. If you have project management, you have one size, and when the production comes, it's still that size, so we need to focus on the activities every single meeting. So everybody got license in Revizto. The architects, the engineers got their own license. So every time we have like a EP and BIM meeting in Veidekke, we used the collaboration and looked in the model to see how it works. And if it not works, they go back to ArchiCAD or Revit or what they are using and do the changes. And just in one single export, we get new models and new sheets on site. So we don't need that waiting anymore. So that's how we reduced sometimes. For campus Remen in development, we started off with using BIM station, VR technology. We had iPad, Surface, AR technology now, and digital construction site and digital communication. That's some of the applications and products we are trying out to see how far we can go before it breaks. And it's still not breaking, so we can do it, and we are still doing it. This is the pilot project of Veidekke to try and learn about it, but now we are going 3 or 4 more are going to go paperless on different disciplines. So the applications we are using several of. We are taking Daleks, Solibri, Tango technology, and Synchro for. But the one that made us could do this for taking it way far with the drawings and the 3D model and having a workflow with the disciplines on site and the project design teams, we used Revizto for BIM station, work on the lay drawing, hotel, and involving all users and site production. So that was quite fun.
Excuse me, can you go a slide back, please? Thank you. I was too
We'll have that.
Yeah, you're never sure if it's in the handout. I learned it from last year.
Yeah.
You want to see it again? So Revizto made us think a new way, because we have always had the 3D model here and the 2D sheets over here, and we can use the Solibri or something like that to tell you about the model in the project design and have it on the BIM station. But now I go over to the site, to the production guys, and I say, hey, let's remove the paper drawings. And I give you this. First expression was, well, and yes, I know. But after a while we're using it, it was more understandable, because now we can see more than what we have seen before. And this is like this. This is what we have seen. If I show you a movie like this, can you tell me the movie? Can you tell me? Nope. Nobody can tell me the movie. If I add a little text, you can still understand the movie because it's Norwegian text. If I can show you this one, do you understand it? Yes. If you have the experience to understand it, you can understand it. But I can understand it my way. You can understand it your way. You can understand it your way. But this, we can all understand this one. This is a new way of involvement to all the disciplines and all the project design team. But when we can do more to this, how can we do more to this? We can add a little text to it, so the movie gets text. For if you're Norwegian, or if you're Spanish, or if you're Mexican, or if you're Danish, you need text to understand the movie, how it's going. If you're not, you need this. And then we got this one. And this one will tell you more than 1,000 words, will tell you. Can we describe what's standing here? Everybody knows. That's why we started using Revizto, and why it's so excellent the way we're going. Maybe we can save the environment, but taking the paper out, then that's awesome. So we can go green. So, project design as usual. We got the project from someone else. They have started on a project, so we got it, toss it over. So we had low detailing level, simple drawings, orders, delivery, revisions on drawing. It was not understandable. So no delivery schedule or cycles on deliveries. So okay, we was waiting on this one, this production as usual. Measurement on drawings, getting a paper drawing, having your but no further plan for production. But after the meeting with Stadsbygg and Diggebygg, we got this production, which are less or no measurement on site, because you're going on iPads. I can say to a framer or a bricklayer that, yeah, you can just do this with freezing hands on -2. It's cold in Norway, so I couldn't see it. Okay, we needed to go back. How can we do this even better? We need the higher detail level. Everything must be 3D modeled. Orders, delivery, and revision in Model that's why we gave everybody the license, so we don't need to have one dedicated person on site to have every Thursday he gets every model and it's open ArchiCAD export. It's open Revit export. Or do that in just one. If you're using Autodesk, you can use Revit and Navisworks and collaborate with it together. But with Revizto you can use IFC and Revit or ArchiCAD or Rhino or FX and everything you want to see in one model in one hotel, so you can get everything and you get the workflow. So everything gets more satisfying. You can see the total hotel, the model tree, and you can get revisions. You can see when the revisions is going out. So you have totally control over your project and the project management to see how, when the licenses are coming up, you know it's big activity on the project, and when it's low, it's probably Sunday, but and it's on the bottom. So operating advantage with BIM, and this is from the foreman of the construction site. He was, and if I gave him one more slide, he will continue because he's Revizto. Every time he speaks to somebody, it's you know what? I'm using that program or doing like that, and we're going totally paperless. And this project has been way beyond. It's now won the health million HMS. I don't know if you have a HMS in Denmark. No, they don't. And they are up for the golden helmet in Stadsbygg for the most forward in the project. So it's like ski jumpers. We go straight out and hope for the landing. But now I'm going to talk about the effectivity. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Effectivity on the building site. Every time you're waiting on drawings, and I will show you some measurement afterwards so you can get a more understanding of the waiting on drawings. If somebody here is working on project and on project site, you know you've been waiting for drawings. So laser version on drawings model always available on iPads and BIM stations, so it's no waiting for drawings for print or use of incorrect revisions. So we're always building after the latest. All subjects have access to the entire design hotel and on their iPads, which make it easy and quick to find interdisciplinary solutions. BIM station with 3D models, Solibri, Revizto, easily accessible to all subjects. It's some of the effectivity. I can say that word.
Efficiency.
Efficiency. Now I got it. That's the efficiency of the building site, some of it. You can take this one and maybe get him a slide more, and he will make something cool out of it. But one of the things I think was very cool is the elevated quality of the building. How can we get elevated quality of the building? It's always the later revisions of drawings on site that reduce errors in the construction process. And that's not what we get when we're using paper and need to wait for the architect to do the revisions. We need the building physics to take the check, and we need to go back and we get it to the foreman on the project.
No, you're good.
And the foreman on the project, and he see it's Friday after 12, so do it on Monday. And it's Monday, he calls 8 o'clock in the morning. We need to wait a day and a half for the drawing. So the mailman comes with a bunk of drawings, and it fills up in the section in the office of the construction site, and so you need to take it out. Now we have leveled it out. I will show you some measures on that after. Complete drawings are available when executive should start working. Crash control and control measurements in 3D model, also by the performers out on the construction site, reduce errors installation instruction and product data sheets are always available on site, and that's elevated quality of the building with the use of Revizto and the digital way to go with the 3D model, and the sheets always available at any time. So that's the right information to right time. We have I have always having meetings. I'm not on the project, but I'm always bound to see if something could go better or something is going to crash or what is going. So when I had the one meeting with all to see how can we get some, is it positive, is it some negative thoughts about what we're doing, we said with 3 from everybody that what we were agreed on. And interdisciplinary control. They felt they have more control of what they are building and what the other guys are building, and don't need to go and ask, hey, can I see your drawings to see what it's going to be? Or you didn't need to do that anymore. And we had understanding and involving of the way we are going. You're talking about BIM technician, VDC engineers, and you talk about people that and what they see nerds. But nerd is the new sexy, so it's okay. But they really like when we involve them in the process that is on design or the project management, that they can say what they feel about and be understanding and involvement in the way we go in the digital industry. So after the meeting we see that we got the, what's the word? Efficiency?
Efficiency.
And what are we striving to get when we do a project? We're striving to get the efficiency. That we're striving. That's the word that make my wet dreams come true. That we're getting efficiency in the project management and the project design and in production. Then we're starting to get the way we wanted to go. So here's some measurements about the digital communication. Before we needed to, when we do it in analog, like most projects do, you have a foreman or one own boss, if you call it that. You need to write down, maybe get a plywood or something, and I'm missing that one, and I'm missing that one. And you need to go down to the construction office, deliver it to the foreman. Perhaps he will take it, and you see it's 2:45. Okay, I'll take a piss. And you go back, and it's using you 20 minutes to go back to the site, and when it's done you can start packing your stuff. And you're wondering if the things are on stock when you come the day after. But no, we don't have this problem anymore. Just need to write down on the iPad, bam! You know it's on the site. Because the foreman can hook off, and then you see that it's in order. Then you don't need that walk, you can skip that piss, and you don't need to use the wood to write down, and you don't forget anything. And the delivery time on drawing supplies and model deliveries this is just something I've thought in my mind, because every revision is different. But drawings before, we needed the architect to do the revisions. In over, we need to have it to the building physics, and he needs to check it, and then it's going out to the foreman to order it in print. With Revizto, we can take all this away, because we can invite the building physics into Revizto, so we can do the third-part control directly. So we can take this one and throw that away too. I'm going to do that after. And only have 3 days before the drawings is on site, but 6 days, that's 50% of the time. So you get more efficiency Did I got it?
Yeah. Now you're a sexy nerd.
Revizto helps you to speak a better English.
That's one of the things I'm writing on. And the same with the engineers. The same time, we can go more down to 50%. And here's some of the pictures on the face, because when we started with the steel model, we need to scan over the entire project because the concrete downstairs wasn't good enough for us to go build up on. So we 3D scanned all downstairs, made a Revizto project to go with the VR to see how we're gonna make a solution good enough to build upon. And you can see some of the early detailing before we need to go back to project design, and you see the entire site of what's going on in the project. So that was the project Campus Remmen.
Maybe you would show an interactive, because we've shown a lot of slides, but that'd be great to show the project itself.
Welcome to campus.
Welcome to campus again. So
The virtual.
here we are in the sunset, drinking some wine. But if there's something you will see in Revizto, or if you have any questions, I can take them, or Revizto can answer them on the way, or you have something to Eric. Because when we have this on site, we have this in the beam station, so you can have a communicating arena for the discipline.
Efficiency.
The efficiency is on site. The discipline is on site. So they have this in the beam station. You see the beam station is over here. It's moving inside when we are having it all figured out, but now it stands over here, so you can see how you go to come to the beam station, or you can go out here. And
Yeah,
then
you can show the 2D drawings blended.
Yes.
It's go to 2D view and directly to the 3D view, showing how it's done.
That's something of the detail views.
How do you align that?
It's automatically aligned.
It's automatically aligned?
Yeah. I think it's better if Reese will tell a little bit on top of your project, how, the components about Revizto, because I don't think that everybody knows about it. And then,
Yeah,
we will
because
comment.
it's the 2D drawings are it's your selection of your layout book in for example Revit or Graphisoft, because you have your layout book where you organize your 2D drawings, the ones you regularly print into PDF. Here you can just select your sheets from the layout book and sort out which sheets you want to follow the Revizto export.
Basically,
Is that right?
Basically,
Yeah.
during the export, you have a time to, you have a possibility to choose whether you want all your sheets from your project or certain sheets from project. Then it exports 3D model with linked files with all your metadata, as well as your 2D sheets. And those 2D sheets, when they are in Revizto after the export, it is automatically aligned to their right places where it should be.
But that's
Because-
because it's from Revit, right?
Yeah, right.
You know, from Revit, from ArchiCAD,
Yeah, but
it's
for like in Denmark, for example, if we're having like a tender project, we would often just get the IC file and we'll have PDF document.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
align, you can do that manually as well. If you have PDF document and you import directly the PDF document to your 3D model, which came, let's say, from IFC, as you said, you can click and align where this PDF document should be with 2 clicks on your model. So it's not only automatic, which comes from ArchiCAD or from Revit, but also a manual overlaying.
Yeah,
That
so
possibility is there.
all of the sheets have come through directly from, I've got a different model I can show you in a second once we finish the guys' questions. Do you
Yeah,
want
and just one thing. Once to clarify one thing, is that the 2D representations, what we're calling drawings, is just a representation from a certain point the architect has selected of the model. So that you got the model in one export and the drawings in another, is that it doesn't need to be that way. It should be, because the 2D drawing knows where it's from in the 3D model. So that's the beauty of the representation you get. The 2D representation will be right there where it's from in the 3D model.
And then you can do measurements here, but the most important thing is that there are 3 components in Revizto. It's the 2D, 3D, as guys said, it's a blend, but also the issue tracking component, which lets you mark up any 3D, mark up any 2D, like in Bluebeam you can mark up, and assign issues. It's like an iPhone chat. So you can assign issues, that it keeps all your history. It doesn't allow you to change anything in a thread. So you keep all the history, you have all the proof going back and see who did what and who said what. And you don't really have to send an email, because assigning an issue or creating a markup, after that you can just assign to the responsible, adding the watchers who should watch this project, this particular issue. You have all reports. You can have like daily, weekly reports, what's going on with your issues. All that is embedded into one platform. Our goal actually is to be, and we are, putting all our efforts to be the coordination platform, and we're not trying to do everything. It's all about coordination. Yeah.
I have some question. I hope it's not too much. The most important question is there any possibility to manage rights for every user? For example, if there's sensitive data, you can't see it.
Yeah, you have. We have so many questions saying, we don't want to show, let's say, to the government owner or whatever owner it is. We don't want to show all our nasty conversations of the issues, who did what's wrong. So you basically, when you each project has its own rights. So you can say, I'm creating a group of owners, and these owners can see only the 3D, not even 2D, let's say, or 3D and 2D. So you have a right to kind of choose what your groups should be seeing, and then you drag and drop their email addresses of your owners who will be in the project, and they will be seeing only the things that you want them to see. Let's say for MEP guys, you're letting them to see only the 2D sheets, or 2D and 3D, whatever you want them to do. So it's all manageable in the project.
And can I select even 3D objects with the rights?
No.
For example, if there are some stations that are secret, even for the government.
No, in that case,
for FM, for example.
No, you can't hide it. You can hide it and create a viewpoint, but if there is a way to kind of unclear that. So you can create any viewpoints, and then they can go through viewpoints. But if you want to hide anything, you just don't export that piece into a project. You have lots of possibilities there. Yeah.
Some of what we've looked at is getting data to the right people at the right time without the use of paper, right? So any questions on what you've seen from the presentation from Eric and Preben, and then I'm going to show you a couple of, so we've still got 15 minutes or so. Yes?
Yeah, I have a question to Veidekke, because what you showed, you were talking about paperless project, but my question is, you thinking about possibility to eliminate drawings at all? Because as you told, everything was supposed to be model, and all information was supposed to be on object level. Why do you need drawing then?
That's a good question, and the question is actually right back to you, because what is a drawing today? Is a drawing just a 2D, or is a drawing? That's interesting, because the client did actually order drawingless, and then we start this discussion. Okay, what if I draw this cube? Is that a drawing? Or is drawing just a 2D sheet? So that was not something we didn't manage to clarify that. So that what he did mean was paperless. But if you're talking about 2D representations or 3D representations, you can. Our goal is not to eliminate 2D representations, because we think that 2D representation connected with the 3D representation, also the BIM model, could enhance each other. It could enrich each other's view. So doing it in this way, we think that it made us do something that we couldn't do just with the 3D model. So I'm not sure if it's not our goal in Veidekke to get rid of the 2D representation. But if it's a drawing, I don't know. You decide. Is it a drawing when it's on paper, or is the PDF on the screen also a drawing?
But do you think you used less time? Because the point for me with paperless project to reduce the time you produce on drawings. You use a lot of time, project team, for to produce drawings, conventional drawings.
Yep.
Do you think your way in this project was required less time for drawings?
Yeah. You may arrest me on this, but this is one export. This is one export from the architect with the X sheets and the model, and the regular way of doing it is one export IFC. I say IFC because that is important. One there and X 2D drawings. So that this is more efficient, and this, yes, but we also need this because we're doing a lot of other things in planning and so on. But this is still the things that we need to document in byggesak. Sorry.
Yeah.
To the yeah. So we need this for now in these projects as well. Does it answer your questions?
Yes, thank you.
What was the biggest sock, or what was the English translation
It's
of
for
it?
administration. and
Sorry?
For okay, I got it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, you showed some examples of how the time you reduced for issuing drawings on site, but have you also done some measurements, or do you have numbers about the whole project, how much efficiency you gained or the benefit you got from going paperless?
Yeah, we're working on it.
So-
Because I'm going to have it ready in January, the totally project when we are finished. We are still in the progress.
Can you give us a preview?
No. you need to see how because you move in time. You're taking time from production over in project management, and before we took time from project design to production, and now we move in the time. So we want to see how much better we can build with the new solutions with the old solution. So we're gonna have the measures ready in January now to present.
Let me elaborate a little bit about, and it's a good question actually. I mean, it's all about communications. Everything what happens, good or bad, it's all about communications. And what you're saying, the measurement. So the way you're coordinating, or the way most of the companies are coordinating any project, takes weeks to gather together right people, getting this model, whether it's model or whether it's screenshots and stuff, and then coordinating whether they're getting it right or not. It's all counting. So we actually counted that the weeks of coordination we bring back to, I don't know, minutes, because you share instantly with anyone. Everybody understands the same thing, and you don't have to keep them all in one room to really do your coordination, because everybody can communicate through our issue tracker and the possibility to see 2D and 3D both or separate, and all that brings to minutes rather than weeks to do coordination. And then you count how many weeks you're going to be spending and how many iterations you basically can do within the project. You can do you can't do much. Like within design phase, you have certain amount of weeks in a design phase. You're not able to basically do, I don't know, hundreds of coordination. That means your project is not very well coordinated through SOPs, through owner, through your team. So you have lots of issues. It's all about how you can coordinate in a real time, and how you can bring your work in front of all your professionals to get the right feedback. So that's the feedback which gives you an ability to change and to make your changes in right away. So that's what we're focusing, to bring your coordination from weeks to minutes.
Yeah,
and
I understand.
And that's you can
agree.
count how much time you would basically save and how much money hence you would save, because how much time costs per each professional of your team to spend their time just on silly things like taking screenshots, sending emails, writing stuff, which could be eliminated completely.
Have you done a calculation? I understand and I agree completely.
We don't have measurements on that now.
That's the thing I'm saying. is, for
We
example, you
have,
take
but
this
we're not
CMO
allowed right now to
executive
say.
provide you the numbers.
We're not allowed to say, because we're not allowed to say the data that our clients shared with us, but we have big firms from Australia and New Zealand, which they were presenting and telling their figures. I'm not sure that I can say that, but it's all up to every company, because we're giving a tool, but we're not kind of getting into your details, but giving a tool which eliminates a lot of headache, eliminates and gives a lot of efficiency on a time-wise and cost-wise. But it would be great to hear as well in the end of January, your report
We
to
get
see
the
what's
report
the.
how, but this is a pilot project, so we're still moving time, but we are starting up new projects with the same solutions because of the measurements we have given them today. So it's improving, and when we are learning on the way we go, you can't run before you walk. So
You're becoming more, what was the magic word?
Efficient.
Efficient.
efficient is my magic word.
Yeah.
Fire away, let's have some more questions. Yeah.
I was just going to add to that. There's
Yeah.
this intangible thing that we don't really do now, the accountability associated with assigning an issue to somebody and making sure they actually follow through and do it. And doing a Bluebeam markup, for example, there's no way to assign that to somebody and then follow up and make sure that they actually do it. They'll get an email saying that they have something they need to fix, and then they go in there and mark it as complete.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing I just wanted to make sure you're all aware of in terms of another key thing I think about Revizto, so you're all aware, is it creates what I like to refer to. This list here you can see is the issues you've all just explained that can be distributed in many different ways, via an Navisworks Clash report or Bluebeam, a markup, a PDF. This now, our issue tracker, becomes our single source of truth. You get a holistic views of issues for the whole project. So anyone involved in the project, the guys out on site with their iPad, can now communicate in real time and create an issue. Perhaps a column's been put in the wrong place, so they can create an issue with their iPad out on site, assign that back to me in the office, and I get pinged in real time in Revizto. So what I've been doing, as you've all been speaking here, is creating issues, markups in 2D and 3D, which, as you've seen, is easy to do, takes seconds. I would then assign this to Armin, who may be the MEP engineer on this project. There's an issue with this duct, right? So what this then does is, by double clicking on that issue, he's using Revit, it's now taken me directly to where that issue is in my authoring tool. So the amount of time, again, that's wasted, coming back to your comment about saving time, is somebody gets sent a markup with a drawing relating to this duct, which is in the 70th floor on a residential tower block, and take them quite a bit of time to locate where that issue is. So they end up moving the wrong thing, which causes another issue. So within seconds, you can create an issue, assign it to the right person, create a priority to it. They receive the issue, it takes them to the correct place, and then they update that. So communication's improved, efficiency goes up, errors go down. Make sense? So a question at the back,
Are
sorry.
you now showing a Revizto plugin, or is this the BCF?
No, it's a Revizto plugin.
Yep, so this
It comes with our plugin.
BCF?
So direct
We do support in PDF. I'm sorry, BCF. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we have our own, but it's compatible. So let's say if somebody did in BCF, you can import, or and vice versa.
So I've got a workflow diagram here that sort of highlights the majority of the platforms and file formats we support. So yes is a short answer. There was another question.
Question to your scenario from before.
Yep.
If the guy on site
Yep.
mount your duct, for example, in the wrong place,
Yep.
how would you document it as
As an
as
issue.
a person who has to prove it that it's wrong, and to send it to the HVAC guy to prove if it's still able to work, if it's on the wrong place.
So what you want to do, communicate that something's in the wrong place.
For example, that the guy built it in the wrong place on site.
Right.
And now you have to ask the specialist from the office if it's still working on this site.
Maybe one for the guys who does that.
So no, hang on. It's so the guy who sees the wrong thing, he takes the picture.
Of course, yeah, for
and,
example.
Yeah, and takes a picture and basically creates. Can you go to the issue tracker, please? And he creates basically an issue with the photo.
With iPad,
yeah, with
example.
iPad. Yeah. So I can take. Let me
So
just.
I'm
Yeah, hang on. Can you?
I'm the issue, right?
Yeah.
So
I see what he's
There you
done is not right, but maybe.
So
maybe
hang on a
it's right.
second. So see, I have the model. Let's
Mhm.
say we're in this model here, right? So I can see that something is wrong. So
Yeah.
what I'm clicking on plus button. Now let's say putting this pin here, and then I'm saying I want to take a picture. So I'm taking a picture right from here,
Mhm.
and then use the photo. I actually take that picture to use the photo, and then I can, you know, if I want to draw, I draw to on this photo. Let me just randomly done, and then I just created this issue, and what I'm saying is, okay, I want to assign this issue to
Yeah, whatever.
Arman.
Mhm.
Yeah. So now it doesn't have an internet connection, but as soon as I have internet connection, it will basically send me this photo with this exact place where it is located. And I'm working in my Revit. If I double click on that issue, it will take me to that dot in my, because the coordinates are the same. It will take me to that dot in my Revit model, shows me the real photo, and I will see the real photo with my dot I have in my Revit.
And this will work without internet connection too.
Yes,
So
of
he's
course.
offline now, so
It's off. It works perfectly offline. It means that as soon as you open the model, it caches automatically. It's not on a cloud. It's not working on a cloud. Cloud is only for storing and synchronizing the versions. But as soon as you open on your iPad, Android, or Mac PC, it automatically caches on your device, and you're not basically kind of forced to have an internet
I
connection.
think that's important to mention, because I speak to a lot of people who are out on site and they haven't got an internet connection. So a lot of these
basement also. It's
yeah. So
possible,
what are you going to
yeah.
do if you haven't got a connection? So this allows you to work remotely, and then when you connect,
It
reset
automatically
effectively.
push ups and then push downs all the
It caches
changes.
the whole model in
Yeah, of
your
course.
device.
Yeah.
Whenever Armin's out presenting the
Yeah.
software, I know when he's back in the office, because my machine just goes ping, 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 ping. With all of the issues that have come through. So anyway, we can take a few more questions.
Or immerso.
I'm sorry?
Or when you take pictures and it's referent to the model with coordinates, it's Revizto or it's immerso?
I don't get it. What do you mean, Revizto?
What you are talking about? To
Yeah.
take picture to
Yeah.
create an issue.
Yeah.
Is it Revizto?
It's Revizto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything
The
is
application in on iPad is exactly the same as you see on PC. So the functionality is exactly the same. So you can play with it.
The other thing I'm supposed to mention is, I mentioned right at the beginning, is what Revizto allows you to do is, I'm not a technical person in Revit, Navisworks or anything, or any of the other offering tools on the screen there. So in Revizto, under preferences, you can choose how you want to navigate. So you can either choose the gaming mode, which is what I use. So with the gaming controls, the four keys on my keyboard, the W, A and SD, and my mouse, I can quickly and easily navigate through this project with ease, without going on how long is your training courses next week, Doug? How long does it take to train somebody up in Revit these days? You're an expert, mind, so long it takes. There you go. 3 days, right? So in probably 30 minutes, you can train someone to be proficient in Revizto.
The 3D connection mouse is way better though. You can.
Right.
This is the only software that it really works in. Supposedly works in Revit, but it doesn't. And yeah, so that's
I need one of these, by the way.
Yeah, Dan Stein loves 3D connections. So yeah. Yeah.
4 different directions at one time. You can't do that many keys.
I haven't, so I can navigate around by room, and that will take me to the center of the room. I can create viewpoints which will come through from Revit.
I mean, you can understand that Revizto basically is an access to your Revit, IFC, or ArchiCAD model completely with all the data in it, but in a very intuitive way that people who have no idea how to, and they don't have to use these authoring tools, they have an access to it and they can coordinate pretty quickly. Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah. So,
And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and this will work on this tablet, for example, too. Or
If you, well, actually,
What is your
potentially,
tablet?
It's from Lenovo, for example.
Lenovo, yeah, for sure.
Or do you have some recommendations for the?
No, iPads are best actually, iPad Pros, but I mean it all come. I mean Surface, you can coordinate on Surface, and
It has to be
Lenovo tab.
powerful, or-
I'm sorry.
It has to be powerful, or is it?
It all depends what kind of model you're putting. Let's say on iPad Pros, pretty big models you can load.
The iPads work great because they have much longer battery life than any PC.
Of course,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah, that's for
the
sure.
best part about it.
Yeah,
Also
So we
works on
don't
the
use
Surface.
the Pros.
Yeah.
one,
yeah, Surface Pros.
No, we don't use the iPad Pros because they're expensive.
You don't have
Yeah.
to
We
use those.
hold down the cost, so we use the one before the Pros.
The Air,
Yeah.
Air 2, yeah.
And it works.
See, I mean
perfect.
it's because you gotta understand that the limit is always the memory. So
Okay.
let's say if you have more memory, not hard drive. Hard drive we don't care. The memory. Let's say the Air 2 or iPad Pros, they have 2 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM. But lower, it's like 1 GB RAM. 1 GB RAM, yeah, you can work perfectly, but you can't load there a huge model.
This is a 300,000 square foot school with all
Yeah,
the
you can see on
MEP and
Dan's-
structural in it.
Dan's a Revizto customer, by the way, so he's not getting paid at the end.
It's a really cool model up there, by the way, too.
So,
Yeah,
sorry.
and he's the author of this model. Yeah,
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Ramon, can you explain the back end part of the tracking part? Because where I'm going with it next is where all the data goes. Because then when litigation occurs,
Yeah.
not if, but when,
Yeah.
where am I going to go to get discovery of all the data? And
You have all your data on your computers locally, always.
But I don't want it on my computer. I need it on my servers. Like
Okay, you can have it on servers through the reports. You have a possibility to export to Excel file,
You got to publish.
yeah, or a PDF file, and you can store it wherever you want. Also, we have brought a console in our one of the latest versions of Revizto. It allows you to basically take through XML code. You can take any data you want from our reports and then integrate that to your whatever system internally you're keeping it.
So you can export the data in a range of formats, depending on what you want. One more thing for me to mention, which I haven't, is I've heard all the talk of BIM being mentioned in lots of different presentations and down at the booths downstairs. This is actually an information model, so it looks great, and it's a very visual model, but it's also an information model. So when you hand this data or share this with the rest of the people on the project, especially with the end client, who I've had a lot of success over the last 6 months, is they want to know what that door is, who the manufacturer is, so when they operate that building, if there's an issue, they can click on the door and get all the relevant information from that, so they can go out and order that new door, for example. So this is a rich model as well, with all of that information embedded with it. So we've looked at overlaying the 2D information in the 3D model, how we can create issues and link those directly back to the Revit model. We've created a paperless project with Veidekke and hopefully answered a lot of questions.
One more
Dan's
really
going.
quick thing that I
Yeah.
add on to Doug's, I think that was Doug, right, you just
Yeah.
asked that?
Yeah.
So we were working on a project with the United States Veterans Administration, so the hospitals, and they had to get approval to install Revizto on their computers by some other government agency,
Mhm.
and asked Armand about 1,000,000 questions, and eventually it was approved, so it passed their kind of security.
Yeah, security. It's a good thing. And last thing to say, we have. I would say that Revizto as of today is the only coordination tool out there which gives you full flexibility on security. What it means, if you have like military project, we have military projects. You know, Australian military projects are done on Revizto without any problem because we give you the possibility to choose where you want to store your data, your model. So if you have a security project, you can store your model on your shared location internally on servers, and only people who have access to those servers will have access to your model. So we're not taking everything to the cloud, and also it all distributed per each region. Like for Europe, we have in European Union the servers hosted, so it's not in United States. In United States, it's in Virginia. For South America, it's in São Paulo in Brazil. Australia, New Zealand is in Sydney, Singapore, and we have different, totally separate in China. So the way we've done is to respect really and maximum respect the security things that governments and any other company can arise as of today.
Great. So what we'll do, if you do have any more questions, we're down in the exhibit hall at booth 16. So please come and say hello and try Revizto for yourself. Thanks for coming to today's class, and a huge thanks to Eric and Preben for your time today, guys. Really appreciate and seeing that insight to the one and only the first people.
It's always great to see,
really
the usage of the software.
You certainly blew my hat off. So thank you guys.